Dream of talking to animals but feel somehow stuck or blocked or even worse, like guilty that you haven't done it yet, that you've had this dream your whole life and it hasn't happened, and maybe like you're doing something wrong. Well, if that's the case, it might be because you're buying into one of the common myths about animal communication. And in this series of videos, I am busting as many of those myths as I possibly can. And today it's a big one. It's all about self-sabotage. Hey, I'm Dr. Kara Gubbins, and I've been a professional animal communicator for over 10 years. I'm the host of the Animal Communicator and Healer Summit and creator of How to Talk to Your Pet, the proven 4-step system that teaches anyone and everyone how to communicate intuitively with their pets or with any animal. And I'm on a mission to create a world in which every animal lover becomes an animal communicator. What a world that would be if we were all living that dream. The harmony between humans and animals would be palpable. I love just thinking about it. So, if you are an animal lover and you have a dream of becoming an animal communicator, but you feel blocked or stuck, or like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or like there's no real progress on your goal, you just can't see that you've gotten anywhere. Maybe you feel like you've got 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brakes, and you don't know who's driving this bus, anyways. Well, you're not alone. I know so many people who feel this way. In fact, I used to feel this way myself. And I bought into one of the most common myths that I think is probably one of the most damaging ones, and that's the myth of self-sabotage. That belief that somehow there's some part of ourselves that hates ourselves and doesn't want us to succeed, so we sabotage all our best efforts. And I think this one kind of grows out of that new age movement of being a creator or a manifester in the world, and being over responsible for any thought we have. Anything that doesn't happen must be our fault because our thoughts are so powerful that we've blocked ourselves or sabotaged ourselves, or we don't really want to succeed or whatever. And I think that is a huge, huge myth. It's a huge, huge misunderstanding of how the world works. Yes, intention, thoughts, positivity, all super important, but beating ourselves up because something doesn't happen, it's not advanced, it's not new age, it's not spiritual. It's a misunderstanding. We can't be hating ourselves at the same time that we're loving ourselves, right? Like this whole idea of self-sabotage causes so much pain and suffering because not only does it stop us from taking positive action, it puts us in this lowest possible vibration, this place of victimhood, and we're like the victim of our unconscious thoughts, and there's no escape from that. You can't get away from yourself. And so you start just piling on all of these criticisms and judgments of yourself. And you just keep beating yourself up, and it sets you up to fail because you have that belief that even if I take steps and move forward and practice or take a class, well, I'm just going to swoop right in and sabotage it. And then we get all the proof, right? Well, I signed up for that class, but I didn't finish it. I'm sabotaging myself. I practiced, but then I got sick and I never started again. So I'm sabotaging myself. So it just sets up this dynamic of self-hatred, of self-loathing, of guilt, of shame, of all kinds of things. And really, it's a misunderstanding. The truth is that we have competing intentions, and we can have an intention to be an animal communicator. But part of our belief about animal communication might be that people will see me as special and different, and they'll treat me differently, and I'll lose all my friends because they'll think I'm a snob and I'm stuck up because I can do this special thing nobody else can do. Well, if that is a limiting belief that we have that's in our subconscious, and we have learned how to not stand out, not be different, not be special, so that we don't lose those special relationships, so people don't dislike us or judge us, then yeah, we're going to have the intention to stay quiet and hidden and normal and ordinary. So if we perceive animal communication as special, or us as special if we're animal communicators, then our competing intention is to stay ordinary. So we're whichever intention is stronger is the one that wins. So if it's important for your survival in your early life to be in the background, to not be seen, to fit in, to not stand out, to not be seen as special, because if you're seen as special, you get special treatment and then everybody else resents you. You're going to create this whole intention that's going to be designed to keep you normal, average, ordinary, fitting in, right? So it's not that you're sabotaging yourself or some part of you hates you and doesn't want you to succeed. It's that this other part of you, this other intention is trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you happy. It's trying to keep you in relationship. It's trying to keep you fitting in. And it may not be obvious, and this is maybe not a great example that explains it really well, but these competing intentions are operating in all areas of our lives. I want to be fit, but I don't want to be working out or whatever, right? I want to relax. I don't want to have to work hard to get fit. I want to relax, but I want to be fit, but I want to relax. Two competing intentions. Whichever one is stronger is going to win. So that's my interpretation of this myth of I'm sabotaging myself, is that we have competing intentions inside of us, unconscious, built in. It's not because we hate ourselves, it's because we love ourselves, and our inner self is trying to keep us safe and happy. So it's really important that each one of us recognize that that's the playing field, that's the game that we're playing, and that it's really important to do our inner work, that healing on ourselves in order to achieve our goals. But nobody really teaches us how to do that in life. We don't have great role models for, I was, working towards climbing Mount Everest, and then I had this limiting belief came up that I had to heal, and it had stopped me. It had sidelined me for 6 months, and I didn't train. And when I healed that belief, then I trained for Everest. We don't have that role model in our lives. So what I offer in my classes is a new vision of the world, a reframing. And it's all about how, as we move towards our goals, we're moving forward on the goal line, which I think of as the x-axis. And so we start at time zero and we move towards some time in the future, and we progress this way. And the farther we go this way, the closer we are to our goal over here. But somewhere along the line, we're going to get a competing intention coming up. We're going to have a belief that we can't be special, because people will not like us anymore. And it can stop us, and we can stay stuck here halfway to our goal unless we recognize that that's a limiting belief, and then we heal that limiting belief. And that's when we move up on the soul line. So this is like the x-axis and the y-axis from math, right? As we're moving forward on the goal line, we're going to have to do work on the soul line. So our progress towards becoming an animal communicator looks a little like a stair step, because we make progress and then we get stopped by a limiting belief. And so we heal that, and then we move forward again and make progress again. So it's a little bit herky jerky, but it's the nature of being a human being. We're here to learn our lessons. We're here to share our gifts. And we can't learn our lessons unless we're doing something in our lives that's meaningful to us. So this becoming an animal communicator is a great way to do our inner work, to bring up those limiting beliefs, those competing intentions that might be holding us back. But they're not holding us back because we secretly hate ourselves. They're holding us back out of love and trying to keep us safe in a way that made a lot of sense when we were kids, but maybe doesn't fit right now. So if you notice that you are kind of going back and forth and getting stuck, or you've kind of flatlined and you haven't made any progress in a while, you probably have a competing intention. So the easiest solution for that is just to forgive yourself. I forgive myself for buying into the misunderstanding that I will have to give something up in order to achieve my goal. The truth is, I can achieve my goal and still be loved and accepted, and and everything can go well in my life. So just think about what that might be. It's not a one size fits all. There's not one competing intention that we all get. There's usually a whole bunch of them. Um, that's part of the work that I do in my classes is help people move forward with the skills and the tools and the practices that they need, but also address those inner issues that come up that need to be healed. But for today, in terms of myth busting, I just want you to understand that you don't hate yourself. You're not sabotaging yourself. You do want yourself to succeed. This dream is meaningful. It is worth taking action on, and it's worth sticking with, but also recognize that there may be some inner healing work around your unconscious beliefs that's going to have to be part of the package as well. When I was learning how to communicate with animals, my limiting belief was the big one. This was my big breakthrough moment. My limiting belief that I recognized was that people will have to take my word for it. If I was an animal intuitive, people would just have to take my word for what the animal said. And I had been raised in a family where I wasn't believed. I had to prove everything. I was on trial at dinner every night. Well, who else was there? How do you saw it? Was there photo documentation? All this crap. So I bought into the misunderstanding that I wasn't believable. And when I recognized that that was the belief that was holding me back, I was like, that's ridiculous. I'm the most honest person I know. I have total integrity. I would never lie. I would never misrepresent something. It's not my word. It's the truth. So if I say something, it's the truth as I know it. It's not people are going to have to take my word for it because I'm not believable. I am believable. That was the heart of it. And when I realized that I am trustworthy, I am believable, it's just that in my past, people weren't trusting of me or anybody else. That's the breakthrough. And the next day, I had my first intuitive communication with a little Chihuahua named Bear, and the floodgates opened, and everything was available to me. So these can be the linchpins on the whole process. And if you are feeling super, super stuck, there's probably a competing intention there. And it's worth digging into and exploring to really look at what's the worst that could happen? What's my fear of this? And look there, and then forgive yourself. I forgive myself for judging myself as whatever it is. It can be that simple, and it can be that powerful that you go from not talking to animals to talking to all the animals, just like I did. I still practiced, I still had the tools, but now I had taken my foot off the brakes and I only had my foot on the gas. And I want the same for you. So if you have been buying into this self-sabotage BS, this myth, I would love to hear from you about how has it been? What's different now? Have you figured out what your competing intention was? And do you see yourself and your process differently? And do you see your path and your journey up till now differently? Understanding that you weren't trying to sabotage yourself, you were trying to protect yourself. I hope that's the case. Let me know. And please join me at the Animal Communicator and Healer Summit this year. You can visit animalcommunicatorsummit.com to get your free ticket to join me and 30 experts from literally all over the world. Animal communication is everywhere. There's amazing people doing amazing things with it. I'm going to highlight some of the leaders and the pioneers in the field. And I'm bringing in a lot of animal communicators who teach animal communication as well. So you're going to get lots of tips about how to become an animal communicator, and help me fulfill my vision for a world in which all animal lovers are animal communicators. I hope to see you there. Until next time, put a note in the comments and let me know what's going on. Have a great day, everybody.